Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Wanderers Way, the official Bolton Wanderers podcast in association with iHeat, with myself, Derek Clark, and Super John McGinley. How goes it, John?
Fine, thank you, Derek. Yes, all good, as per.
Yeah, and very much looking forward to today's guest. I'm sure you'll enjoy it too, folks. We're joined by none other than Cyrus Christie. How's it going, Cyrus?
All good, fellas, all good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. I've been hoping to get you on for a wee while. How's things? How's training going?
Yeah, all good. It's been good. Obviously, we had the little break, which was good for everyone. It's always needed. So, yeah, we're looking forward to the next game and maintaining the run that we're on. So, yeah, I think mood in the camp is high. Spirits are high, I think, throughout the club. So, yeah, it's good and it's something that we need to maintain now.
Yeah. And how have you done yourself, Cyrus? I mean, you came in a little bit late, obviously. Yeah. So obviously fitness, you were a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Took your time and got there. I mean, you tickled your toes to start with, and now you're in the side.
Yeah, no, it's been good. When you're out for a while, just training on your own, it becomes a bit boring. You got to maintain different things. You know, I managed to look after myself in the summer. Kept ticking over and just waiting for the right opportunity to come along, and I stuck with the plan that the gaffer and Walshy made to come in, and my plan was always to build up to 90 to Man City, and kind of didn't go on track. I didn't get the 90 there, and then was meant to have another game after that in the B team. That game got cancelled, and then I managed to get in the team and played. Obviously, you want to play every game and enjoy the run in the side. Then I obviously came out and have come back in now. So it's just about maintaining the shirt, and you're playing catch up. It was just about being patient, taking my time to get myself in a place where I'm able to play the 90 minutes week in, week out. And I think I'm on course to doing that, and each game it gets better and better, and more fitness, more confidence within the body, and you obviously I know what my ability is and what I can bring to the team. It's just being able to get out there and showcase that, and thankfully the plan that they made has worked, and I look forward to trying to play every game.
You must be happy so far with the impact you've made.
Yeah, no, I've been delighted. Obviously, when you come in, you wanna hit the ground running. I signed obviously the day before the Rotherham game. Came in and played at centre back. Did well. I felt I could have played longer, but like I said, you have to trust the plan that's in the process, and you don't want to rush. There's been many times probably in my career, even when you've come back from injuries, where you try and rush and come back and you're not yourself. So it was just about staying patient, maintaining my training levels, and keep pushing to improve. Obviously everyone can improve no matter how old you are and what age you're at, and it was just I'm happy with how it's gone, how it started, and I think there's more to come, and I'm enjoying playing for this football club, that's for sure. And I think as fans, and you're there every game, you can see it how much I think the lads enjoy playing for this team.
And how much we enjoy watching them at the minute as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, it's been good. It's going to be a topsy-turvy league. You know what the EFL is like, and throughout football, there's going to be ups and downs. But we're in a good place, and obviously want to have more ups and downs, and that's for sure.
Yeah, as someone that represented the Republic of Ireland, Cyrus, you mentioned that you've had a bit of a break. Do you miss going away in these international breaks at all?
If I'm being honest, no. No. It's, obviously, I love representing my country and putting on that shirt. I think last year I still had aims and ambitions to get back into the squad. But just before I got injured when I was at Hull, I was about to go back in, and I hadn't played for a while. I'd love to obviously put on the jersey again one day and represent that, but there's more to it than just that, and I just want to enjoy my football at club level, and whatever comes with that, and I'm sure, I don't know if I'm in the manager's eye there or not. I've had 30 caps. I've had my time, and it was fantastic. I've had some good days there. Most of the time it was good. There was a few bad things, in terms of like the World Cup playoff final, just missing out there. But it's been, obviously Republic of Ireland just had a great week in terms of getting into the playoffs now. So obviously when you see that, it obviously makes you miss it, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I wouldn't obviously love to be a part of that, because I think any footballer would want to be a part of something so special. like I said, I've had great days there. But yeah, in the back of my head, I'd love to represent Ireland again one day. And I think every footballer, you have to find something, bit of ambition to chomp to. And yeah, I think that's one of the thought processes in my head. If you play well, there's definitely that could happen again. But my main focus is playing well here, enjoying club football, and yeah, I mean, it's great. I get to spend more time with my family as well.
Yeah.
Surely though, Cyrus, I mean, you're in the team now. You solidify that position. Everything goes well, and just looking a little bit ahead, and everything else. We get promotion, finish the season on a high. There's got to be realistically ambition, possibly to go to the World Cup. And if you're playing well here, surely that's going to put you in the eye anyway. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, you'd like to think that. I think anyone would like to think that as well. But there's also the expectation of who else is in that position as well and doing well. Mm-hmm. A lot of managers would want to stick with the lads that have probably got them there also. But yeah, I mean, if everything went great and you are playing every week and you get promoted and you're going up into the Championship. I've said it before. There's going into an international break. I've had it where I was at Swansea. I was flying, and I think I'll go away and play, and you're not able to maintain that form because the manager doesn't pick you. He's got his players that he wants to select. So yeah, I mean, I can cast one eye on that. That's for sure. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, if everything was going great, then yeah, that would be unbelievable. That would be amazing. But yeah, Republic of Ireland need to get there first, that's for sure. So it's going to be a difficult one, but I think, like I've said many a times with Ireland, the spirit that the nation carries and the way we play and we make it difficult for teams, that definitely is an added boost. And to have Ireland at a World Cup will be unbelievable. They saw it at the Euros in 2016, how amazing it was. And I think they're some of the best fans in the world, that's for sure. So yeah, if they can make it and get there, then I think that would just be great for the World Cup on a whole to have a nation like Ireland there.
Well, you think back to the '94 World Cup; it was also in America.
Yeah, I remember the Houghton's goal against
exactly, and Jason McAteer, who was a young boy here at the time, and he got picked for that squad and he played there. And the impact the Irish fans and the team obviously made in that World Cup was sensational, wasn't it?
Yeah, amazing. But yeah, they travel in numbers, Irish fans. I mean,
half of them are in there. Was it 35 million, I reckon, Irish are in America?
Yeah.
So Boston, Chicago, New York, it's pretty much hometown.
It'll be, if they can get there, then it'll be like playing at home. I mean, even when we went to France, Euros 2016, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
The amount of fans that were turning up, even the ones that didn't have tickets, some of them days, I mean, I didn't obviously get to play. So obviously I was there for, I think we managed to get through. I think we could have beat France if we obviously the week before we played Italy, not even a week before, a few days before, they shut the stadium roof and it ended up being the hottest day ever. So it was like playing in a sauna. France get a week to recover. We only got a couple of days. And I think the fatigue kind of kicked in and Duffy gets sent off. So yeah, didn't go our way in the end, but just seeing the amount of fans there singing the songs, my family were there, it was really emotional, to be honest. Never seen anything like it, and I think if they can bring that to the World Cup, that'll be amazing, especially for some of them boys that are playing now. They've obviously got many more opportunities to go, but you don't want to waste the ones that are in front of you.
No, not at all.
You're quite right. Had a great week, beat Portugal, and then the Hungary result was mad at the end, wasn't it? Right to death.
Amazing. But that, I think, sums up Ireland really. The never give up spirit.
Spirit and heart.
I think they showed that the last few games, and I think Ireland did come away from it for a bit, and there was a bit of a transition period under Stephen Kenny trying to play football, and you know what it's like sometimes when managers try and change the way things, it doesn't always go smoothly, but he did bring through a lot of the lads that were playing in the game the other night, so obviously credit to him. But I think Ireland are built on, like you said, the spirit, being hard to play against, and just never giving up for the 90 minutes, and I think they showed that definitely in the last two games. And you just look at the celebrations at the end and how many fans have turned out to that. It's a feeling I'm sure none of them will ever forget.
Yeah, absolutely. Your own career then, looking back, growing up as a young lad, Cyrus, but you always, the dream always to be a professional footballer, but is there any role models, any posters, any players you had up in your bedroom walls or anything like that?
Yeah, funny enough, I come from a boxing family, so no one actually really played football in my family. They were all boxers. So yeah, it was a toss up between boxing and football. I think I chose right. So yeah, I mean, growing up, really, obviously I wasn't a defender then, so I used to look up to obviously R9. Thierry Henry was my favourite. Then when I went into centre mid, when I was playing there, I was Patrick Vieira. So yeah, I was a big Arsenal fan. In terms of, obviously I supported Coventry, that was my team, but I used to love the way Arsenal played and would follow them. So yeah, they were probably the three players the most that I used to really enjoy watching. But I used to just enjoy watching football, to be honest. Playing down the cage with a lot of my mates, obviously, which is basically prison rules.
Anything goes.
Yeah, no refs down there. So yeah, it was just always playing football. I think back then it was very different. You obviously want to be professional, but I think you're not open to as much as, in terms of your parents don't know too much about it. Whereas now in this society, they seem to obviously know a lot more, so I think the dream starts a bit younger. You just kind of do it for the love of it, and then as you get older, you start to realise, you can make a living of this, and you're educated more, and you learn more about the process of it. And yeah, thankfully I've managed to have a good career to date, I believe anyway. So yeah, obviously I had to come through. You have to come through the academy and every year, and it's tough, but you have to be able to stand out and work hard. And yeah, I think I had good people around me, that's for sure. In terms of family members, even friends, always pushing to do the right things. And yeah, but also you have to be mentally strong yourself to maintain them levels. And I think there's no luck in playing 500 games or whatever I've played. It hasn't come from just sheer pot luck. It's been a process of working hard from a young kid all the way through and maintaining them levels. And there is days where obviously you don't hit them levels and you don't maintain it, but you have to do it pretty much 95% of the time and keep pushing and keep persevering.
You mentioned the boxing background. How big of an influence was your late Uncle Errol on you?
Yeah, really big. He was big for everyone in the family. Obviously, coming from where we come from, and from a poor background and underprivileged, and having to fight a lot of things in terms of racism, and they were the first black family in the area coming up. So they grew up fighting, and they got into boxing. So being able to see what he did was not just inspiring for me, but inspiring for the whole family. Funnily enough, I don't know why no one else went into boxing. I know his son did, but then when Errol got ill, he stopped. Obviously, he was signed with Mayweather's camp. My brother obviously went on to be world professional army boxing champion as well. He then wanted to go pro, but he became ill, so he couldn't get his medical. He couldn't pass for his license. So yeah, no one really carried on with the boxing. But yeah, boxing is a sport that I'm really fond of. Just in terms of, if you look at it from a mental aspect, you're in there on your own, really. So it's a tough sport to be in, and yeah, to achieve what he achieved was unreal. I think if you was able to speak to me, probably would have known that he could have done better. But there was many factors that played a part in that. If he was maybe in today's era, obviously at the time super middleweight had just come out, I think that would have benefited him a lot more. He knows that was probably a mistake that he made, and not staying at the Kronks gym over in Detroit as well. But he didn't have the people around him to guide him in the right way. So yeah, he was a big influence, and obviously his brother Wesley Lloyd had a really good boxing career as well. So yeah, all of them did really well in terms of the boxing thing. A lot of them were England captains, but yeah, they were definitely big influences on a lot of people growing up.
Yeah. So how far down the road were you sort of boxing? Did you go to boxing clubs or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, so I went to the one where they started at Standard. Didn't really like it. So then I went over to Cov Boys. They wanted me to carry it on, but everything just clashed at the time. So I was doing boxing, athletics, football, and yeah, football was the one that I enjoyed the most. Yeah, I did like the boxing. I still do. I still try to tick over a bit on the pads, and when I can. So yeah, I go to a lot of the boxing fights as well, especially when I was at Fulham. Obviously, with Martin being in London, I try and make it to most of them, and I watch all the fights. So yeah, it's a sport, like I said, I'm fond of, and yeah, I think I chose right. I don't think I'd want to take too many punches, that's for sure.
Who's your favourite current boxer?
Favourite current boxer, obviously Usyk's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's always good to watch. I like the boy the other day, Cattrall. He was very good.
Lives in Charlie.
Yeah. So yeah, I like watching them. I haven't watched it too much lately, to be honest, just because obviously they're always late at night. Obviously with the little one now, yeah, it's tough. But yeah, I'm trying to think the last fight that I went to. Which did I go to now? Can't even remember now. It was that long ago. I think I went to what was the one at Tottenham? I went to the Usyk at Joshua. At Tottenham.
Okay.
So yeah, I try and get to as many as I can, really, to be honest. So yeah, and I try to follow it as much as I can, but sometimes there's so many fights on. Yeah. But I like you guys at Atoma as well. No?
Yes, he seems. Yeah, he looks like he's going to be a big
good.
prospect.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully there'll be some more big fights and good fights, and I can get myself to go down and watch.
Yeah. So you picked football then. You started it at Coventry. Your sort of home. As your hometown club, wasn't it? How did that all come about?
Yeah, so started at Coventry. I think I signed there when I was 8. I think the rules were different then. You could sign at 8, but you'd start under 9s, whereas now I think they start like under 5s or something ridiculous. Yeah, a bit low. So yeah, I started obviously at London Road Lions, and that was my Sunday league club. And luckily I had a good team. A few of us went on to sign in the academy. And then I just worked my way up through the ranks. I started as a right winger, then I went to a striker. Was always top goal scorer, and then slowly, as you do, work your way back. Centre mid till the youth team, and then it was just Steve Grizovic. There was one game. I think they needed a centre back, and I played centre back, and then he liked me there, and then that was it. I started centre back, and then went into right back, but obviously I came through mainly, to be honest, as a centre back. It was just an opening happened within the first team of playing right back, and I took my chance. I went on loan previously to that to making my debut. They sent me on loan I went to Nuneaton Town in Conference North, I think that would be. I think that's right, in Conference North and South. That was an eye opener for sure. Yeah, real eye opener. But it was good but difficult. I had to learn a lot there. Obviously, everything's very different. They were training just behind the goal. I mean, first game I got on, the fans were on the coach, which I was shocked by. I'd never seen that before. But they had some really, really good lads. But that was a very different atmosphere. A lot of lads had come through the non-league, and the manager had his team together. So it was difficult to break in and do well. And obviously, I scored an own goal on one of my games. Headed it back to the keeper. Miscommunication, it went past him through his arms and went in, so that wasn't the greatest start.
Did you have to go back in the bus with the fans after that?
No, do you know what, the first game I set up the I think it was the winner, or we drew, the equaliser, and then after that I didn't really play, and then I came in and that was the first start that I had, and then that happened. So yeah, it wasn't the greatest of starts. So it was a home game actually, and then after that the manager, he took me off on the 46th minute. We kicked off, the ball went out of play, and he put my number up as a sub. So the manager at Coventry wasn't too happy about going that way. He's like, either bring him off at half time or
don't do
give
that.
it 5-10 more minutes at least. So kind of after that it was a bit maybe we should get you out of there. And then I went to Hinckley, which was actually their local rivals. Very different atmosphere. A lot of the lads had come through academy system, professional, so it was all a very bit different. And I actually knew a few of the lads, and I went in there and I think I played 9, 10, 11 games, something like that, and was flying. I was getting man of the match most games, and I got recalled. And then that summer I just worked hard, was in the gym every day, running. Luckily I was with some of my mates, and then my dad pushing me. But yeah, I was very orientated on getting into the team. I knew that I could make my way into the first team, and like I said, I'd go to all the games and watch And I could visualize myself playing in that team. And yeah, I came back, won the fitness tests, ended up playing a lot of games in pre-season, and then ended up starting first game of the season, which was a derby game against Leicester, up against Darius Vassell. So so I'm showing my head. That was the era of Sven-Goran Eriksson. So when he just got to Leicester, he actually got sent off for Sal quite early, so that made it a bit easier for me. So I was up against him and Konchesky. They had a very good team. Obviously Leicester. Then the winger in front of me, I think 5-10 minutes after, decides to do a reckless challenge, and he gets sent off. So even the game out. And then I ended up playing, I think, 44 games that year. Did my knee at the back end of it, which was difficult. But like I said, my mentality dragged me through. They told me I'd be out for close to a year. I think I came back in 9 months. So it was Coventry was good. I ended up playing 119, 120 games for my home club, which was amazing. I think in different circumstances you probably would have stayed there for longer, but the club was going through a lot, so it wasn't really a time for a lot of the young boys to stay around, but that situation helped us probably get into the team also.
Do you keep an eye on them now because they're flying?
Like I said, Coventry is my team really. Obviously I'm a fan, a supporter of Coventry. I always checked out on their results even when they went down to League 2, League 1. So it's always a team I look out for, and see how they're going, and it's great to see what they're doing and what they're achieving now, and it's good to see all the fans coming back, because it's such a big town, and I think people don't realise how big a club it is. And it's definitely a club that can be in the Premier League, and I'm sure compete at that level as well.
It's been a long time since we're in the Premier League, hasn't it?
Has, and you've got to say, Mark Robbins did a fantastic job, didn't he? He's put the foundations in, and Frank Lampard seems to have taken it to the next level now, doesn't he? So, no, I think they are flying, aren't they? They've got a fantastic opportunity, I think, this year to get themselves back into the Premier.
Yeah, I think the Championship is probably one of the best years to probably go up, I'd say. You see the teams that have come down are struggling a bit. A lot of managers are changing. They seem to have the momentum, and so I think they could be in for a real good season, and I'm sure. It helps that they've got good owners now as well. By the looks of it, the owners when I was there was a bit carnage. Seemed like someone was getting sacked every week. So it's good to see that the club have so much stability now, and like I said, it's a fantastic club, and really and truly probably should be a Premier League club for that kind of fan base, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you left, we quite sad to leave. You moved to Derby 2014. How did that come about?
So obviously my contract was running down. We couldn't agree on terms. You obviously have the tribunal that they call it. No one obviously wants to go to that. But Coventry obviously offered me a deal. I didn't turn it down. It just wasn't the right deal, and also I didn't really see from the owners the ambition of what they were trying to do, to be honest. And I think a lot of the other lads saw it that way. But what didn't help was they were offering me a deal, and a lot of the other young lads had signed their deals as well. But at the time, I was in I was not a different level, but I'd played a lot more games than a lot of the others. Whereas that's why they were signing theirs. Whereas probably in the grand scheme of things, I could have signed it, but it wasn't about money or anything, because I ended up signing for Derby for less money than what Coventry offered a league below. So it was just about getting back up to play at the highest level, and that was always my ambition. And to be honest, Coventry, the way they dealt with it behind the scenes was crazy. Things that the manager said as well. Which was always stuck with me. He said, "I don't care. His career can rot."
No way.
Which was one of the things which was wild to me. Obviously at the time I'm only 21, going on 21. To obviously hear that from a manager, and I'd put my life into Coventry as well. Obviously I had the injuries. I'd played every game, every minute when things were bad. Never shied away from it, and it's sad to see that and to hear that when you've come through from the age of 8 all the way through. To hear that, like I said, obviously it was a club that I would have loved to have stayed at and been a part of, but the timing wasn't right. And I had a few offers that within that year Coventry had turned down that they probably should have took because the money was good. And then eventually, I don't know why they turned down 1.5-2 million from clubs, and I only went for 190 grand in the end, which was crazy. For them, considering I had 6 months left on my contract and they were turning that down. So yeah, it didn't end the way that it probably should have. I don't think it was from my side. It was from the other side, and at the time the club was a bit of a mess, and like I said, it makes it worse when the other lads left. Were signing their contracts, but they all left. Some of them left in the summer. Callum, he went as well. Obviously, he'll demand a larger fee as a striker. You know what it's like, do you know what I mean? So that's where the money's at. So yeah, it was a difficult one. But Derby was another great club. Not too far either from Coventry. So yeah, it was when they came knocking, and at the time they just obviously lost in the playoff final to QPR. It was a club that was showing really good ambition and on the up, and really that first season we should have got promoted. We were unbelievable. Many factors played into us going from top of the table to falling out of the playoffs on the last game of the season. But yeah, it was another really good club, and one that I enjoyed. And like I've touched on before, there was a lot of ups and downs there, good moments and bad moments. I played a lot of games, 120 again, exactly the same number as Coventry. But yeah, that's a club that I feel at the time we should have got promoted with the team that we had and the players that we had, and there was a real team cohesion there.
Yeah.
Everyone got on well, and yeah, I think if I look back on that's probably a big disappointment, really, to be honest. And I think if you asked a lot of the lads in that team, that's a moment where it could be a timetable moment, for the club, for players. You end up having maybe more games in the Premier League. You never know, but it's all hindsight now. And yeah, like I said, I look back on that, and we maybe did underachieve, really, in all aspects.
Who was the manager at that time at Derby County?
Steve McClaren.
Okay.
So Steve McClaren signed me. Really good coach. Really enjoyed it. We had a young team, full of energy. The way we played, we were very attacking. We had a mindset of we'll just outscore everyone. That was kind of where we were based at, really, to be honest. And we knew that if we can control the ball and keep the ball, we had a lot of fluid rotation. Fullbacks pushing higher, wingers rolling in, midfielders rotating. We just had a good core group of players and lads on the bench as well. And like I said, everyone got on. But when the whole Newcastle thing comes around with McClaren, it all went a bit rocky. And as young lads, it sometimes when you really like a manager and he's doing well for you, and then you kind of know that he's leaving, although he said he wasn't going to leave, or he wasn't, but we all knew he was. It kind of, I don't know if that disrupted things maybe as young lads, but yeah, that was when it all kind of just started to go a bit pear-shaped. And obviously looking back on it now, when we look back at the end of the season, I think there was 11 games left. We didn't need many points to win the league, and we fall out the playoffs. It's tragic, to be honest.
The job was done then? Do you think it's sort of... I don't know.
No, I just think we didn't think the job was done. We weren't really that kind of team. We always wanted to win every game, but a lot of things started happening. He was changing players' positions. Centre backs going to right back, left back going to centre back, winger playing CDM. It was just carnage. He did a whole thing where when we conceded, everyone gather on the halfway line and get in a huddle. There was just all sorts that was just going on. I think it just disrupted the whole flow of things. And like we said, everyone knew that he was going to Newcastle. He's telling us he's not, but we already knew that. It was it was his dream job. And I think it probably would have been better if he just told us that he was going to go, and then
being honest.
Yeah, and then we all end on a high. We go up to the but if we get promoted, he might change his mind anyway. So yeah, whether I think that could have played a part in it. To be honest, there was a lot of disruption, and I think if you asked a lot of the lads there, they probably would say the same.
Yeah. Sounds like it was overcomplicating it. With changing the players round and doing all that stuff when there was no need.
Yeah, and then I think when it started going a bit bad, then it was just he was looking for a formula that probably wasn't there, rather than just
the mad scientist.
Sticking to what we know.
Being a coach.
So I reckon that did play a big part in it. But yeah, I wouldn't say that we thought it was home and done, and we obviously wanted to get promoted, and we had that belief that we were going to, and everything that could have went wrong.
Obviously, would say, Cyrus, so it's obviously football as well, isn't it? Because if you're not careful, you could be flying 1 minute. If you're not careful, something happens, and then you can't get going again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It just happens, and that's it. And you can't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
But you just can't get things going, as it were.
Yeah. So then I don't know whether at that point in the club, then it become a bit of a hoodoo, where it's like at that point in the season, I think the next season the same thing kind of happened, where between, if I get it right, maybe March, April kind of time, maybe February, March, the results were really bad, and it was always a bit of and then it became, I think, a thing. Even then, when I'd left, it was the same. I think we beat them. We ended up beating Derby at Fulham in the playoff semis. But before that, they'd had a rocky period. They were flying, they were doing well, and that same period come around. But yeah, even in my second year at Derby, I think we should have got promoted. We played Hull twice that season. I think we beat them 4-0 both times within the season. And then first leg of the playoff, they beat us 3-0. Just
like us here in Watford,
not sure what happened. Like just everything on that day went right for them. Then we go to theirs we still thought we can turn it round. No team at that point in history had turned it round. From a 3-0 deficit, we go 2-0 up, and we're thinking we can do this. And Craig Bryson, I don't know if you've ever watched. Unbelievable finisher, scoring goals, just a knack of habit, just being in the right place at the right time. I think he gets a chance, you're 100% guarantee he's going to score. Hits his heel, just goes wide, and then slowly put so much energy into the game. It just, Hall managed to hold on, and I think Curtis Davies come out and said it was probably the toughest game that he's ever played in. We were in so much control. We battered them from start to finish, and it was just, I think at that moment in time, like I said, Derby, I believe we should have got promoted, but we just, it just didn't happen.
So it's like Coventry, they're another club that haven't been in there for quite some time, isn't it? And there's an expectation level, pretty much like here as well. The fans remember the good times in the top flight.
You look at that Championship now.
Yeah.
Every team's been in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So there's an expectancy, isn't there, amongst fans?
Yeah.
And you have that. You just have that feel that you should be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the thing is, you've got to earn it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
not
we
easy,
have that same problem here at times where the fans a bit disgruntled because we're still in League One, etc. But we're a League One club. Yeah. It's all right saying no, we're bigger than that, we're this, we're that. We're a League One club as long as we're in this league.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, no, sometimes obviously people they do forget, don't they? I think it's difficult for fans. You probably even see it now with like Man U, for example. A lot of their fans are so used to winning every year.
It's alien to them now, isn't it?
So now obviously they don't really know how to feel when they want to go back to the history of when they were doing it. But it's so difficult now. There's so many good teams. There's a lot of money in the game. That's making it a lot more competitive, and no one really has the right to win any league and get promoted. Doesn't matter the size of the club, the fan base, what you've done in history. It's what you do today in the present moment. And like I said, there's so many clubs that are competing for that are able to do it and can push for that. And you see it year in, year out in the Championship. There's probably teams that go up that you probably believe they probably shouldn't, but
they've earned the right, haven't they?
They have. Yeah. It's not through luck to get up there. After that amount of games, they've earned the right to get themselves into the promised land.
For 46 games, you've got to go toe to toe with people, haven't you?
Exactly,
it's as simple as that, and that's what we're learning now, and that's what we need to do this season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And especially in this league, because we're a big target in this league, and the players have got to carry that every week.
Yeah.
Because you're wide open to it.
Yeah, no, it's tough when you are a big club. A lot of people they do raise their game for it. Yeah. Which makes it more difficult, but it's a challenge you have to embrace. You'd rather be the big club.
You're encountering it now,
one,
Cyrus. You know what I mean? And again, no disrespect to anybody, but there's smaller teams in this league. Yeah. And they come here and they're a big crowd, and you know what you're going to get. It's their opportunity, isn't it? Yeah. And invariably, you're going to get their best performance of the season. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, but we have to use all the tools to our advantage. The crowd making it hard for them to come here and play, and then we have to put on a performance. We have to make it difficult for them. And I think we are showing that, especially at home. Away games obviously can be difficult. We've got a great pitch here. We're getting
23, 24, I think it's 25 on
25 Saturday, yeah.
25,000. You know, that's bigger than most championship clubs are probably getting as well. So yeah, everything is there in place for us to do well. We have to just capitalise on that, and teams are going to come. You saw Port Vale the other day. They're going to have their spell of 10, 15 minutes. I think we weren't riding that out before. You know, you saw it. They probably have. Teddy makes the save off some of their shots. They might have gone in previously in other games where they've had one shot and they've scored. But yeah, we've managed to be solid and ride that out, and then we've gone up the other end and scored. And people I know will look back on. I saw some people saying it was against a run of play, but we earned that moment for Amario to score that first goal. We stayed in the game. We stuck to the game plan, and then from there, you know, the freedom comes, and we're on top of Port Vale, and when, you know, we put them to the sword, and that's what we have to do. Not every game is going to be 4-0. We're going to have the games where we're going to have to battle it out, and we're going to have to show different sides. But yeah, as long as we can implicate our plan and show our ability, then there's no reason why we can't beat a lot of these teams.
You just mentioned a player there who you play behind.
Yeah,
Amario Cozier-Duberry. What's he like to play with?
Unreal, to be honest. I've touched on it before. You know what Mavericks are like, wingers. Sometimes they don't want to do the off the ball stuff. They don't want to do the defensive side. But with Amario, you don't have to say anything to him. He's a bundle of energy. He's just here, there, everywhere. He does it. I said it to him before. Sometimes he shows too much energy, I think, because he's always moving. Where sometimes, as for me, I was saying to him, I saw where you are, but when I put my head down to make the pass, you've moved again, which can be difficult at times, where he could probably just stay still. But his enthusiasm and his love for the game is second to none, and he has the ability to match it. So it's easy to play with Amario. You don't have to worry about whether he's going to stay with the left back if they're pushing on, or having to put him into position. He's always there, and like I said, he's got the pace and the energy to do it, and that's one person you don't have to worry about, and that makes life easier as a fullback. I've always enjoyed playing with wingers like that. I've had another Scotsman, Johnny Russell. He was unbelievable at it. You just knew that he was always going to do it. So then that takes a bit of an ease off your mind as a defender. But like I just touched on then, earning your moments, Amario earns it by the way he applies himself throughout the game, and the defensive side, what he's been doing. And that's why it opens up for him, because he shows that enthusiasm, he shows the willingness to drive, the unselfishness. Sometimes maybe he might take too many touches of the ball, but he's a young lad and he wants to do so well and be the winner. But you only look at what he does out on the pitch. Port Vale probably wasn't even his best of games, to be honest. The way,
that
do you know what I mean? But when you're a player of that capable, that ability, that it's moments that you live for. When your career's done, no one's going to remember that first 15, 20 minutes, are they? They'll remember that he got, was it 3 assists, 4 assists?
He's 2 assists,
2 goals, whatever he got. Do you know what I mean? So, exactly. So, I mean, the world is his oyster, isn't it, really? And what he's producing. He's a target, obviously, probably for other teams now. And even when they have tried to double up on him, he's come up in clutch and he's done the job. But it's not just about Amario. There's 10 other lads out there and people from the bench that are also providing the platform for him to express himself and be comfortable and able to showcase his ability. And each and every one of us has a role to play within the team. Some are going to stand out more than others, i.e. Amario's going to get the headlines. Mace, when he scores, see, attackers always get the headlines anyway, don't they? So but you have to have that foundation there from the club, the manager, the people above, the other players. You have to give them Mavericks, the match winners, the ability to go out there and perform and make sure that they're in a situation where they can feel comfortable to make things happen. And you're seeing that with Amario. Obviously, especially, I know we talk about Amario, but even the other lads that are performing well, and there's things that probably people don't see that will go unnoticed from the others. But like I said, we're not a one-man team. We've got many people in this team that can create things. I know Sis maybe had a slower start to the season, but you saw in other games when his confidence is high what he's capable of. We see it in training. 1v1, he's horrible to mark. And you forget he's young as well. And the type of player that he is, he needs that confidence. but he's difficult. Maybe he does one too many things where he shouldn't. But they're all good lads. They know that, and they've got an enthusiasm, like I said, to learn and get better. You have Thierry as well, who's dangerous, who's very good, and yeah, throughout our whole attack, even Maka, who doesn't play, Rands, Demps, we've got so many good players. Javs, name the whole team. Yeah, basically, the whole team is really good, and it's a strong team to have in this league for sure.
Yeah,
it's a quality squad. There's depth now as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's difference makers coming off the bench if needed as well. So
yeah.
Just got to keep everybody fit.
Yeah, I think you can see it if the gaffer changes the team. Look at the cup games.
Yeah.
The strength in depth that we've got, and you know, it's difficult to get even on the bench. Do you know what I mean? We've got so many players, and obviously it doesn't help. I know with 7 subs being allowed on the bench compared to the champ where it's 9, so it makes life a bit easier. But yeah, we've got quality throughout, and we're going to need everyone at some point in this season. It's a long old season. There's so much football left to play, you know, so we've got to take it day by day and game by game and not look too far ahead.
Yeah, spot on. Back to your own career, Cyrus, you had a short spell at Middlesbrough. You went up there, half a season you spent up there, and then you enjoyed a really good spell at Fulham, didn't you?
Yeah, so Middlesbrough, so I loved it. I loved it when I went there.
Was it Gary Monk that was in charge?
Gary Monk signed me, yeah. So he spent a lot of money that summer. Yeah. They just come down. Yeah, 40 million, 50 million, something like that. Yeah, and obviously Britt, Asombalonga, Ashley Fletcher, Lewis Baker, Randolph signed, Martin Braithwaite. Obviously spent a lot of money on him. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I loved it there. It was a good club. A lot of lads had come in, and we all got on really well. Some really big players there. And yeah, it was short but sweet. I didn't envision myself leaving. I signed a 5-year deal when I went there, but Monk got sacked. I think we were 4th in the league. Maybe we just won at Sheffield Wednesday. We'd come from behind to win, which is always big. I think we were on a bit of not a bad run, but we hadn't won in a few games. We obviously then turned that game around, and going to Hillsborough is tough.
Yeah,
it's a tough place to play. We win, I think, last minute or close to the end. So everyone is obviously loving it, and then we get back to the training ground and we see all the staff leaving with their laptops and computers. They'd been sacked. I don't know to this day why they got sacked. I'm not really sure what happened, but after a result like that, you wouldn't expect a manager to get sacked. So I don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. And then I'd played every game, pretty much every minute. The only game I'd missed was Leeds when I was suspended. So yeah, that was the only game that I'd missed. Played every game, was flying, doing really well, playing some of the best football that I'd played up to that point. And Tony Pulis come in and told me I was too small to play right back, and that's how it went.
Dearie me.
Yeah,
too small to play.
Too small to play right back. Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, 6'2". So don't know what the average height of a fullback is, but I thought I was quite tall for fullback, to be honest.
That's mad.
Yeah, and he just told me that he wants to put shots at right back. Yeah. Because he had him at Stoke and he saw him as a right back, right winger. Asked me to play left wing. I didn't want to play left wing. Yeah. He brought me on one game at left wing, and then was like, I told you could play there. And I just think from then it just wasn't going to be a good fit. He was obviously trying to say that you'll enjoy it playing for him, but I couldn't see it, to be honest. I just don't think it was gonna happen. I don't want to play out of position, especially when I was having such a good season. But Tony was all right, to be honest, with it. Obviously then, we obviously managed to agree to leave, and Fulham come in, and I signed at 10:59. So deadline day, just about.
What's that like as a player like that? Is it like a race against time? Is it a bit manic?
Yeah, it was, because obviously, but it had gone on for the whole month, to be honest.
Right, okay.
So it was taking time. Middlesbrough were playing hardball. And like I said, they didn't want me to leave. Then it was just trying to get it done. And I know we had a game the day before, I think deadline day. I can't remember who we played. Might have been Sunderland. So even then I was obviously still trying to sort it. I knew Fulham had put a bid in on the way to the game. I thought it'd been accepted. It hadn't. So then I had to turn back round and then go speak with the sporting director. Got to the game, and to be fair, Tony Pierce was like, just make sure that you're ready if you have to come on. and then that was it. I thought he would be annoyed. He was fine. And then, to be honest, the next day I didn't know what was going to happen. I chanced it. I jumped on an early train because it was pretty much, the deal was basically done. But I got like a 6 a.m. train down to London and just sat in my agent's office for the whole day. And then the deal was done. On the way to Fulham's training ground, and then the deal was off. So I was like, I don't know. But they said, still come in. And all I had flashbacks of just Peter Odemwingie. That's all that was going through my head, and I was like, not a chance. I'm not turning up there. So I had to go sit in Nando's, and then wait. And then they were like, it's done now. Like, you can come in, but it got filed at 10:59. And then I didn't have time to go back and get any of my boots or my clothes, because I thought I could just go straight back, and then I'd have time to come back down. So I had to just leave. I had to get my boots and that all shipped down, and I didn't actually go back to Middlesbrough after that. No, I didn't have time. No, because we had so many games, and then going away on international break, I didn't have the time. So I had to get my family to go up there and pack everything up, and then bring it down to London and get people to drive my car down. So it was all full on. But it was close to not being filed on time. That's for sure. But
exciting times. But
it is.
The way it happens, it's exciting.
But behind the scenes, not many people are privy to all this sort of carry on that goes on.
No.
Especially on deadline day, it's just crazy.
But even in general, to be honest, even if it's not deadline day, like I've had it even when I went on loan to Swansea, the way Fulham were acting, the deal was on and off for about a week. Every day I was waking up to it being cancelled, and just then the other things that start happening behind the scenes. You come out the medical and I'm like, is it done? No. They've changed the goalposts on something, and it was, that one was more frustrating than anyone, to be honest. Trying to go, when I was going to Swansea, leaving Fulham, they made it hard work for me. That's for sure. Kind of played on the fact that I wanted to play so much, so they kind of used that against me, because they knew how desperate I was to just go out and play football. Where some lads can be happy to just sit there for the rest, and I always think that's a bit of a hard one. You get battered, say, by fans if you sit there and you're just happy to sit on the bench and not play. You don't show any ambition to play, but then if you want to go out and play, then people, you've got this many clubs, you're a bit of a journeyman or whatever it might be. You're kind of in a bit of a lose-lose sometimes. But I'm one of them that I always want to go out and play, and and then clubs can obviously, what it's like, it becomes a battle of the ego sometimes as well. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes in terms of things happening, and it can be frustrating, but it's part of the process.
In general terms, they always get done though. I know it's hard to say, probably to a younger player it's difficult to be patient, because it's going to get done.
For sure. I think if you haven't been through it, it's tough. But it comes down, like you said, to being patient, and it is a battle of who's going to break first as well.
Like you said, it's hard to be patient when you just want to play football.
Exactly. Which is the most difficult thing, because obviously that point where I was at Fulham, it was difficult. Obviously they banned me from the training ground, so I wasn't allowed in until anyone was allowed. So it was like you had to come back at 5 o'clock. But it was just the way it went about it. Do you know what I mean? I'd come in and I was about to walk on the pitch, and they were like, "No, you're not allowed." And I was like, "Well, what do you want me to do?" And they were like, "Doesn't matter. Go in the gym." I was like, "Oh, should I go home then?" They were like, "Yeah, that's fine." And then I get a message later on that evening saying, "You're not allowed in the training ground till everyone's left the building," which was 5 o'clock. But if someone was there at that point, I'd have to wait. And I just said, "Listen, I'm not going to come in," kind of thing, and I'll go train with the person that I've got, and then the window shut. And then came back in. Some days I'd train on a pitch next to them. Some days I'd train with the team. It was a difficult 6 months.
It was.
Because at the time I was just having, obviously, my child as well. And my missus nearly died as soon as she became ill. And then obviously that's happening. Obviously there's we're still an element that we're human beings. We're not just a commodity. Do you know what I mean? So that was obviously a difficult 6 months in all honesty, because I was training well, but like I said, in my mind it was just a case of come in, smile every day, hello. I'm not one to kick up a fuss, but it was hurting. Do you know what I mean? Coming in every day and
you just can't show it.
But I knew as bad as it sounds, it's going to hurt them more if I come in and be happy every day, because they're looking for me to kick off or me to give them a reason as to why. Okay, this is why. Get rid of him. So that was a difficult 6 months. But
did nobody support you then, Cyrus? Because I mean, surely the PFA or such could come in and support you, because if you're getting treated like that, getting told you can't walk onto the pitch and all that sort of stuff, surely they can support you. And
to be honest, at the time, I don't think anyone really knows like what the script is with that. I think now people know a bit more that what they doing wasn't right. At the time, I think they knew that it was wrong what they were doing, but I didn't know that it was technically illegal. If we're talking technical terms, it was a strange one, to be honest. It was like really out of the blue, and it was just more that there was no real information to it. So even then, obviously, when I left to Swansea, it became a thing. I mean, even I was going to go do the medical at Swansea. They cancelled the medical, and they said you need to be in training. And they wasn't happy that I hadn't turned up to training. But I was like, but I'm meant to be going for a medical.
Messing you about.
Yeah. So then, but I was like, you've banned me from the training ground. Yeah. You've told me I'm not training with the team beforehand, but now I haven't turned up for a day. Now they tried to make out it was me, which was So it was a crazy. It was difficult because I loved it there so much. I know obviously it didn't go according to plan of how obviously I wanted it to be for the time that I was there. In all honesty, some, like I touched on, great moments, really good moments, but I had a lot of bad moments, a lot of down moments, a lot of times where mentally you have to test yourself and persevere, and I showed that a lot of the times. But I think sometimes as well, when there were certain incidents that happen, and then once the fans kind of turn on you a bit, and you become the person that they turn to and say things about you, you kind of know your time's done. I'm one of them. I'm not going to try and prolong it. I think a few times I was let down there, in all honesty, and things could have worked out differently. And like you touch on being backed by not just the PFA, I'm not on about the PFA, but people within the club. At the time, things could have smoothed things out. It was difficult, like I said, because I put my all in there. 110% every single time, even when I wasn't playing. But I had a good run there. A lot of good moments with the promotions and Premier League and things like that. So it's a club that I look back on fondly. It's a club that I wish it went better, better than it could have been. And it's one of them. I think I could have been there longer. But it doesn't work out all the time in football how you want to be, and maybe it just wasn't the right time. But I think there was moments, for example, in COVID, we come back from after the break. I'd been playing before that, playing well, and then we had the break with the COVID, and I come back really fit, really sharp, looked after myself so well, and thought, I knew, there's a promotion here, and at the start of the season I wasn't playing too much, so I had a bit of a point to prove also, and I came back, was flying. Then I was meant to be playing the game before COVID happened against Brentford. They come back, I didn't play in the 3 games, I think it was, where we come back, disappointing, because I'd come back probably the fittest out of everyone, doing really well, and then I come in and I score against QPR, the winner, which then kick-started the campaign again really for us, but no fans. And I think that's a moment where that could have turned things.
You could have won them over.
Yeah, because it was probably the best goal I've scored, 35 yards out. Yeah.
Nobody there to see it.
Nobody there, yeah. Obviously everyone was watching it on their Fire Sticks or the EFL pass that they had at the time. But it would have been in front of the away end. I can't remember what point of the game it was in. But yeah, I think that's their turning moment where maybe you get a bigger bond with the fans, scoring against your local rivals as well. And that could have been a turning moment. And then I carried on. I played really well up until that. Played in both the semi-finals for the playoffs. Done really well. And then get dropped for the final, which was just disappointing in the grand scheme of things when you've played in both the semi-finals. But we all know what's at stake, the playoff final. Whether you're in the team or not, everyone wants to be a part of it. But obviously you'd love to start from the off, and I'd played in all the games, so yeah, that was obviously difficult. And then you get promoted, and I'm in a good form, like I said, at the back end, and it's a quick turnaround from that season to the next one. And then after that it just didn't.
Wasn't the same.
It wasn't able to kick on, and it was tough. But yeah, listen, I had great times there, and I can see it all day. Who was the manager at
that point?
Scott Parker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Jukanovic brought me in. Then Ranieri took over. Yeah, he wasn't the best, to be honest.
Was he more a figurehead rather than a?
Do you know what? To be honest, I don't think he had the players for how he wanted to play.
Right.
Because Fulham had their brand identity of flowing football, keeping the ball, and Ranieri was very solid Italian, 4-4-2, get the ball forward. If it went out, play by their corner flag, amazing. He didn't want any balls to go backwards. He had Tom Kearney on the right wing. Do you know what I mean? That was, I think he thought he was Mahrez, which obviously Tom would laugh at. He's not, but Tom is an unbelievable player. When you need him in the middle of the park to keep things ticking over and make things happen. He had this thing being in the castle, but I can then see why it works at Leicester, because they had players that were more equipped to that. We didn't have too much pace. We had Abu Kamara, who was the quickest in our team by far, but he was just mental, like great lad. But if that was his chance to solidify his probably place in the team, was under Ranieri. But then they had the whole incident when he missed the penalty. Him and Mitra had the argument on the pitch and then Mitra scores the winner a bit later. But Abu, and then something happened in the training ground, and Abu ended up leaving and going on loan to Turkey, I think. But we only really had Abu that was probably the most suited for Ranieri. It was, and then he didn't stay for long, but he was the first one to leave the training ground all the time, which I've never really seen from a manager. And some of his staff didn't speak English, so his sports scientist done a lot of the translation. It was a strange one. To be honest, it didn't really suit the identity that we've had before. And then he left, and then Scott Parker took over. And we done well towards the back end of that season. Then obviously we get promoted the next year, straight back up. So we did well to keep our squad together, to be honest. And it's a great club to be at, isn't it? Really. So like I said, it's a club that I look back on fondly for the memories and some good moments. But part of me wishes it went a lot better. But it's hindsight now.
See that first season you mentioned that. When you got to the playoff final, beat Villa, wasn't it, in the final?
Villa, yeah.
But did you feel like you couldn't celebrate as much because you weren't didn't play a bit as big a role as you would have liked?
No, not at all. I think in the element you don't want to, not in like as in you kind of want the limelight to go to the lads that have obviously all played. But that moment of winning that game, we were down to 10 men for a long time in the game. And then obviously I came on. I think I played half an hour, so played a decent amount of minutes. But we'd been on such a good run. I think we went 23 games unbeaten from middle of December. Obviously I wasn't there at the start of it. I joined in the January. But we went 23, 24 games unbeaten, which is tough to do in the Championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we had such a squad that was so confident of winning, and we never really got carried away with anything. Jukanovic was always the same after every game. Well done, you've won. This is football. Lose. Okay, you lose. That's football. I'll see you Monday. We never got carried away. But we just knew that we could. We had such good players and everything just clicked. And then we actually lost last game of the season against Birmingham. We were like, just before the playoffs, we're going to lose. But it was always, even if we had won against Birmingham, Cardiff knew the score, so they went up. But then we lose the first game of the playoff against Derby 1-0. And there probably people are starting to think, oh wow, we've just done all that work but we were so confident at Craven Cottage that we were going to win. There was never a doubt in our mind. And then Cess and Dennis Adoy obviously go down in history for his header, and then obviously TC at Wembley and Villa. It's just it It was meant to be honest. I don't think there was much doubt within the squad that we weren't going to win. I can't remember anyone. We were so confident, and even in the next year against Brentford, the 2 seasons after against Brentford as well, for the second one, they obviously had a really good season, a good squad. They beat us twice in that season as well. They were very confident going into the game. I think one of their players made a bit of a schoolboy mistake by saying that we would fear them. That was his interview.
Stick that up in the dressing room. Yeah.
Well, it was in the group chat, straight away.
Yeah.
And the lads were laughing. And they were like, but we were just so confident that we'd win. We'd been there before. And we'd had such a good, strong end to the season as well. So there was never a doubt in our mind again that we weren't gonna do it. And unfortunately enough, I was able to do it twice, which was amazing. You know, I'd love to claim the third one when they won the league, but I don't think I played enough or was involved enough for that. So yeah.
Tell us about the Premier League then. What was that like playing up there? What's the sort of difference to the Championship, I feel like?
The intensity of it is very different. Championship is very end-to-end.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fast-paced. Premiership is a lot more, I'd probably say more tactical. You know, teams, you surrender the ball for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, get into shape. You know that they're going to have their moments in the spell, and then you create the traps to go and press. But honestly, every game is difficult. I know from the outside sometimes if you're going up against a team within the relegation zone, it's not an easy game. It's difficult because they've all got such good players. And even now, I was talking to some of the lads today, like they were asking me, and I was just, everyone's an athlete. People you think aren't quick, they are very quick, strong, athletic, good on the ball. People that you think probably aren't technically great, trust me, they are. Trying to get near them. But you can see why it's the pinnacle for a lot of people, the Premier League, because there's so many good players. I just think we had a lot of changes that year, a lot of players come in, and I think when you get promoted, you kind of want the manager to stick with the team that kind of got you there and make a few additions, but we did make a lot, and a lot came in on deadline day. Probably didn't suit the way you played, and the things you see, obviously, like you say, behind the scenes, and maybe some people's attitudes towards it makes it difficult. But it was, the Premier League is so good. Difficult because every chance feels like it goes in, to be honest. There was games where I think we played and you'd look back and 1 shot, 1 goal. 2 shots, 2 goals, but then you look at our ones, and that's probably where we obviously weren't clinical enough in both boxes, and you get punished in that league. But I mean, now it's great to see Fulham doing so well and being established in that league, and I think it was only a matter of time before that happened, because they had owners that are putting together a team and investing, and like I said, it's a great location to be, so you're always going to attract top talent, to be honest, because they want to be in London, and it's a good club to be at.
You mentioned you get a bit of stick at times as well, but you felt like the club should have backed you a wee bit more on it.
It was an incident that happened at one of the games, and it went obviously all over the news. My sister was attacked and racially abused at the game by a fan, and I just believe the club behind the scenes obviously backed me, but it could have been good if the manager or someone with a bit more presence within the club had come out and said something. Because a lot of people in the club saw it, because it happened. You know what it's like, all the families sit together, the media, all the staff, their families are there. They all saw it. They saw it happen. But I felt like I was fighting a battle on my own, where I'd come out and said it had happened, and then look, it's a difficult one for people to speak on, and I get it, but I think at that time it would have took, if the manager had come out and said something, or the captain, or whoever, someone that the fans loved and adored, they would have then realised, well, it is true, it did happen. There was a lot of players' families, they saw it there, and they did the witness statements. Some of them went to, obviously, the police. It was the media team's family were in there, so they saw it. So it all happened, and then I think that was, I'd say, that made it difficult, because then the person that did it had a bit of a, I don't know how you say, he had a bit of a clan within the Fulham fans, so they were very vocal on Twitter, but I can't say anything, So I'm seeing it, but I'm not allowed to respond,
Yeah.
which then makes it more difficult because you don't want to jeopardise with the case and different things like that. And yeah, it was that was a difficult moment. That made things a lot more difficult. But like I said, I went on and had a good season, and then obviously COVID then hit after that, and then I think that's why I said that would have been the turning point when I scored the goal against QPR. That it could have maybe came back around, and then you know what it's like, a bit of time passes by, and then it takes one person to then bring it back up, and it just that was difficult, and that was where I thought if someone says something here, then that would have made it easier, but. Unfortunately, at that time, no one said nothing. I think he got a lifetime ban in the end from the club. In the court system, not guilty, but it turned out they didn't take on all the witness statements from our half, especially the lads' families. So there was a bit
just sad to hear stuff like that in today's.
But then it looks bad for me, like I said, because they were so vocal on Twitter and stuff like that, and it made it more difficult. And obviously, I'm not allowed to say anything. You know what it's like. If I say something, then it makes it worse.
When they hear one voice, they go with it, don't they?
That's the problem,
because you don't respond, well, it must be right.
Yeah. And to be fair to them, like one of the guys that witnessed it, he carried on going with it. He wasn't going to back down. They were trying to bully him to say, he was making it up and lying, and he stuck to his thing. So fair play to him. All credit. That was amazing to see. But you know what it's like sometimes as well with the negativity. You know, it seems to outweigh the positivity sometimes. You know, you see 1-2 bad messages or whatever it might be, but there could be 10, 20,000 positive ones. But a lot of the time, the ones that are the positive ones aren't on the social media. So it's difficult, and like you just said there, like once a lot of people, I believe, especially on the social media world, they like to go with someone's opinion. So whoever's got the biggest voice, they'll go with them, and they don't want to go against the grain and look bad, and then so that makes things a lot more difficult.
Sorry to hear that. And I mean, you spent time at Swansea. Who was in charge of Swansea when you went?
Russell Martin.
What was he like?
Amazing. I've got no bad words to say about him. You don't like him, no?
He had a bit of a disastrous spell at Rangers.
There's no hiding from that. There's no hiding from that. But like, listen, when it comes to managers and people are always going to have different opinions because you've been in different situations with them, and I've got nothing but love for Russell Martin. For the fact of, like I just said, I went there for that 6 months off the back of a difficult 6 months with Fulham and everything that happened and the things that happened with my missus. And even then when my missus nearly died and passed away with like the stuff that was happening, obviously no one at Fulham really said anything to me. No one asking, but I went to Swansea. Russell didn't know anything about it. My first home game, he was like, "Where you going?" I was like, "I'm just going to the car to get some." And then you went, "Missus and kids here?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "Well, come on then, let's go and see them." He goes, introduced himself, sweet, and my missus was just like, it's never happened before. At Fulham, not one person said anything to her. And I'm like, wow, like, that's amazing. And then after that, you're like, without knowing, you kind of give a bit more. And then he was just a nice guy. The way he played was great. I enjoyed it, and I think I had probably one of the best 6 months of my career. I was flying. I think I got 3 goals, 5 assists in 22 games. Do you know what I mean? From the position I was playing in, and I think we were close to probably being in the playoffs. We probably just needed a few more players, which I think is what he realised and his staff had realised, but the club weren't willing to back him and put it in. Not back him, but I don't think they'd back maybe previous managers, and I think a lot of their interest was at DC United. But yeah, as a guy, as a coach, unbelievable. And I just think from obviously what had happened and then him doing that, just the little things, and then even with some of the other lads, even with me, it was like, well, you've not seen your family for 2 weeks. They didn't move down to Swansea with me. He's like, listen, you've played every game. Come back on Tuesday. Go spend some time with them. Joel Perot, he's like, go back to Holland for a week. Joel Perot comes back, scores 2 games that the next game, do you know what I mean? It's just little things to reignite, and he was so good with the lads. I don't know what happened with his other clubs, whether he changed or not, I don't know, but I can only speak on when I had him. And even at the end of the season, I mean, the start of the season when I'd got there, in the January, even when she's like, are you going to sign for him? And I'm like, oh, I've only been here like a month, like relax, do you know what I mean? And she's like, no, like what a guy, like unbelievable. She's like, you've never really had that with other managers, but that she's seen anyway, and the people being so nice. She was like, it's great. And then Swansea wanted to sign me. They were having conversations about signing, and then the club basically said I was too old. I think I was 28. So apparently to them there's no no resale value. But one of the owners wanted to do it. They couldn't agree, so it didn't happen. And then I was going to Ross like, just give me an offer. Like it's not about the money. I was like, I actually just want to come back and play because I enjoyed it so much. And I think within football, having that love from the club and the fans is something so hard to find.
Yeah.
And I think if you find that, it's something you should hold on to because it's probably one of the best things ever. I know there's lads out there that they don't need that, but that was kind of, I hadn't experienced that for a while. And at that stage in my career, it was being somewhere where you were loved and that you know that you're going to play, not every week, but it was allowing me, because I loved it so much, to perform to the best of my ability. And it was just so enjoyable, even when you lost. Like you were never really too down because the way we played was really enjoyable. And I could feel the love from the fans, the clubs. It was amazing. And I was just like, yeah, like, listen, just offer me something and we can talk. He was like, I can't offer you anything. Obviously, I'm not gonna play for free. Do you know what I mean? But my miss, she was desperate to go back there. Yeah. And then he just couldn't get done. But thankfully, I went to Hull, and the same thing kind of happened. I was able to replicate that up until my injury, which was disappointing because I was flying. So, yeah, there's obviously moments, like you said, in your career and things where it can happen. So, yeah, luckily, I went from Swansea to Hull and was able to carry that on. I would have loved to obviously done it longer there, but injuries played a part. Things change. Obviously, managers can change on you, people above can change on you, and I just think with Hull it was disappointing how it ended in the end. I played the whole second season injured, and was told that I was making it up, and then had a scan, and my knee was still torn, which was meant to be 4 weeks, ended up being 4 months, because of the damage that had been put on it, and they didn't know that till they went in to do the operation, and then nicely of them they released me on social media, not a phone call.
No way.
3 days after my operation. That they didn't know about the operation at the time, but 3 days after I'd been on an operating table, Instagram going off.
That's nice of them.
Retain list, considering, listen, that's their way that they want to go about it, but I think from the human element and the personal side, when lads are, even if you're not playing every week, you're putting your body on the line every day for the club.
Human beings, aren't they?
Yeah, I think even, for example, Greg Docherty, he'd been there for years. The same thing, not a message, not a phone call. He'd given his service for 4 or 5 years at the club. He'd got them back into the Championship and was a great person to have around. And he was loyal to that club. For then that not to be replicated back, all it takes is 20, 30 seconds of their time to say thank you for everything, blah, blah, blah. But you just put up, this is our retain list for the thingy. We wish you all the best. Not anyone from the club ring you, that was disappointing. But obviously what I'd gone through that season, no one knew what had happened. I'd played the whole season injured, didn't feel myself. And it's difficult when people start saying, oh, well, is his legs gone or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But
they start looking for an excuse, don't they?
But in the end, I'm like, well, I know something's wrong with me, but they're telling me I'm making it up and it's in my head because I'm not playing or whatever. And then eventually I go get the scan 4 days before the season finishes. And it comes back saying that I've got an injury. It's still injured, but I can't pinpoint the time in the season where it was, but it was close to the start of the season because at the back end of pre-season I could still feel it. I think for the whole season, I played injured, and it was difficult because I'd had such good moments there, and I wanted to carry on and push on. And I believed that I was in a good place.
Absolute bumper episode. It's been great having you on, Cyrus. Before we wrap things up, we've got this brilliant photo of Cyrus in action. You can see here he's signed it, very kindly signed it. We're going to give one of these away, folks. To win that, Cyrus recently made his 500th career appearance, which is no mean feat. Just tell us who the team Bolton played on that afternoon, and if you send your correct answers to the Wanderers account on X or Twitter in Old Money, and we'll pick a winner at random. But Cyrus, it's been an absolute joy having you on.
Thanks for having me, fellas. Thank you.
No, Cyrus, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming in. You've got a big season ahead of you.
Cheers.
Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Wanderers Way, the official podcast of Bolton Wanderers Football Club in association with iHeat.